Hi everybody. It's been a while since I put up a update video, so I figured I'd do that. If you guys didn't see the video I put up a couple days ago of my dog, I'll put the link down below in the description. It is downright adorable. You need to see it. Um, every day, she's just awesome. She's the best dog. Anyway, on to the topic of the video and on hand here. I actually had to write down what I was going to say because I realized in most of my past videos I tend to stumble over what I'm going to say, like it doesn't sound very planned out. This time it's a little better. I planned it a little bit. So let's get started. Alright, so recently I got into the BBC TV series Sherlock. If none of you have seen it, it is amazing. It's a little bit of a different interpretation of Sherlock. It's takes place in the 21st century, so modern times basically in London. And I don't know, seeing Sherlock in a more modern setting is really interesting to me. It's intriguing, and it actually seems to fit really well. Like, cause he's not a private detective; he's a consulting detective. So the cops come to him when they absolutely need help on a case. They're not supposed to, but they do anyway because he's so intelligent. Um, and he's played by a British actor named Benedict Cumberbatch. He's been in a couple of things. For anyone who's seen War Horse, he was one of the British generals. He was the owner of the big black horse, and he also had a badass mustache too. It looked like a French mustache. Um, but yeah, he plays Sherlock, and he does a fantastic job. I bought both seasons off of Amazon for I think it was $40 for both of them, and I watched the entire first season yesterday. Each season is only 3 episodes long, but the episodes are about 1.5 hours to 2 hours each. So it's more like a series of movies than a television show. Um, but it's really good. Yeah, it blew me away. Like, I'd heard a lot of good things about it from my friends who watch it, and I've seen, like, I saw like a trailer for it, and I was like, when it first came out, and I was just like, it looks okay, I guess, but I just couldn't like get over. I just couldn't get past the fact that Sherlock wasn't. It was a more modern times one, so I was just like, we'll see. I'll wait a bit and see what other people think, and then finally, someone convinced me, and I bought it and I watched it, and oh my god, it's amazing. Um, for anyone who doesn't know who Benedict Cumberbatch is, look him up on Google. He's pretty cool. A lot of people like. I think he's kind of cute. I mean, I dig British guys anyway. Like, and just in general, British guys are awesome. But I don't know. I think he's attractive. Like, he has really pretty. He has like really pretty eyes. Like, they're just like the brightest blue I've ever seen. And but a lot of people are like turned off by his jawline because he doesn't have much of a jawline, like side two. It's just basically just he doesn't have much of a chin, like he does, but he doesn't have a really pronounced jaw. So he looks kind of strange from certain angles. But I don't know. I think he's sexy because of his demeanor, more or less. Because in Sherlock, he's just a really like I don't know. He's just really enigmatic. Enigmatic. He's very strange, and I don't know. He's just really cool. Anyway, on to the next topic. Oh yeah, a little bit more on Benedict. He looks like an otter. Okay, it's a little weird to say that just in a video, but seriously, look up on Google Benedict Cumberbatch otter, and there'll be comparison pictures of a picture of him and a river otter, and it is the funniest shit I've ever seen. It's mostly the placement of his eyes. It's like how his eyes are placed. It just makes him look like an otter, and it's hilarious. Um, oh yeah, more on Sherlock. Okay. So, unfortunately, even though I haven't seen the second season yet, I know how it ends. Because I am on Tumblr, and Sherlockians are very rampant on Tumblr right now. So, there's always spoilers being posted on my dashboard. So, I know about the whole Reichenbach fall thing. Um, yeah, Sherlock basically just jumps off a building and kills himself. And it's really depressing. I've seen the clip of it on YouTube and elsewhere, and just wherever I found it. I think someone posted it on Tumblr. It might have been taken off YouTube by now though, because it was like a few months ago. But yeah, it's really sad, and I was just like, no. And then last night, one of my friends reminded me that if you watch the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. in them, there's actually a scene at the Reichenbach Falls near the end of it, which is also in the Sherlock books, where Sherlock and Moriarty tumble over the edge of the falls, and Sherlock actually comes back a few years later, and he's alive. So the correlation there is basically because there's going to be a third season of Sherlock, so obviously he's coming back. But I didn't consider that. I didn't consider that whole connection there. So now basically what that means is Sherlock faked his own death for whatever reason. I'll probably find out once I start watching season 2 more in depth. But he fakes his own death very elaborately and very convincingly. And then 3 years or so, give or take a few weeks later, he comes back. And I think and Moriarty's already dead at this point. So I honestly don't know what's going to be in season 3. Kind of looking forward to it, but it's a year in the making right now, so it's gonna be a while before that comes out here in America, unfortunately. But here's hoping it comes out in the next 2 years. Oh yeah, Sherlock and John Watson in the BBC Sherlock series. So many, like, I don't know, it's just so many homoerotic references with those two. Like they're obviously not together. They're not together in the show. They're flatmates or roommates in 221B Baker Street in London. And Watson just starts helping Sherlock on his cases, so they're really good friends. But there's just this chemistry between them. Like it's hard to explain. There's just this chemistry between them that honestly they act like a couple a lot without even meaning to. So there's a lot of fan fictions, fan art, everything about that. It's canon, basically. It's hard to watch BBC Sherlock. Like just in the first episode alone, there's at least 3 mentions of it in there, like just thrown in there randomly. It's just hard to watch that show with a straight face sometimes because whenever they argue, they're like a bickering married couple, and it's amazing. Um, Martin Freeman as John Watson is just awesome. He's great. If you haven't seen the show, watch it. Don't download it illegally or I will kill you. You can probably find it on YouTube though, which isn't much better. So, however you can watch it because it's great. Oh yeah. The other day, I was actually kind of excited and kind of confused because the Avengers gag reel, as well as the full movie, all of the deleted scenes, and all of the featurettes were leaked onto the internet. I watched a couple of them. I'm going to refrain from watching a lot of the deleted scenes though, because it comes out on Blu-ray next month, and I bought it, so I'm gonna be watching it soon anyway. But the gag reel was just too much to resist, so I watched it when someone posted it on my dashboard on Tumblr, and oh my god, it was amazing. This, the cast in this movie is flawless. I love them so well. Technically not flawless because of how much they fuck up in the gag reel, but it's really funny. If you can find that on YouTube too, I would highly recommend looking that up. Or if you prefer to watch it by more legal means, by all means, get the DVD or Blu-ray when it comes out. It comes out on September 25th of this year, so a little less than a month. No, a little more than a month, because today's the 22nd. So, yeah, definitely get it. Apparently, there's a lot of deleted scenes about Captain America and the girl he liked before, the girl he liked in the movie named after him. There's a lot of scenes they cut out of the film with him and her. Not necessarily her being in it, but him just like remembering her. And I've seen like bits and pieces of one, and it was really sad. So I'm looking forward to that. But oh my god, there's the gag reel is so awesome. Uh, and oh yeah, okay, so that's about it. No, it's not actually. There was one more thing, and I forgot to write it down. Recently, I bought the game Sleeping Dogs for PS3. It's a Square Enix game. It was originally called True Crime Hong Kong when Activision dropped it, and then Square Enix picked it up and renamed it Sleeping Dogs. So I've played maybe 3 hours of it so far, maybe a little less. It's not a game I can really play for long periods of time for some reason. I just can't get into it that much. It's pretty decent. The only qualms I have about it are some of the textures not loading correctly, like when they should. So some of the graphics in different parts of the game look like really shitty. But then again, it's a huge game, so obviously they would be a little slower in loading the textures because there's just so much for it to handle at one time. The characters are really cool. I love Wei Shin, the main character. He's just badass. He's basically Bruce Lee, but a cop. So it's like, it's awesome. So basically, in Sleeping Dogs, you play Wei Shen, who is an undercover Chinese American cop who goes back to Hong Kong to do some good over there in his hometown of Hong Kong. And he goes undercover as a member of the Chinese Triad, which the Sunoni, which is basically like this gangster mafia type. Is the Chinese version of the mafia, I'm guessing. So the entire game, you're like straddling the line between good and bad because he has to act as a cop, but at the same time he has to play the part of the criminal to see how their organization works from the inside. And he feeds information to his superiors. So it's an interesting means of doing that, but it's cool. And one thing that really pisses me off about it is the combat system. It looks really cool, but for someone who doesn't button smash as much as I do, actually no, even I don't button smash that much, which is why it's frustrating. For someone who doesn't play a lot of button mashing games like myself, the combat can get very frustrating very quickly because for most of the game, one of my friends said until about 6 hours into the game, you don't have a gun. You don't have any sort of weapon. All of the combat is completely melee, hand-to-hand combat. But your enemies can carry weapons. Like, I rage quit the other day while I was playing it because I was trying to get my character to do a drug bust, and he had to get rid of all the thugs first before hacking the security camera. And every single one of the thugs had a butcher knife that was maybe the size of my head. So I'm fighting like 7 guys at once, 4 or 5 of which had the knives, and to get rid of these guys with the weapons, you need to counterattack. A red highlight shows up around them when it's okay to counterattack. Then you quickly hit the triangle button or the Y button on the Xbox. And if you do it correctly and in time, you block their attack and possibly disarm them. I haven't really figured out how the disarming works yet, but it's very difficult to counterattack one guy with a knife when another guy with a knife is coming at you from behind, because you can't block both of them at once. So it's very frustrating. I'm gonna pick it up again eventually, but today I'm just not in the mood to deal with that. It's my day off. I've been stressed out enough as it is with the new job and getting so many hours. I have like no time to myself. I'm not complaining. The money is good, but yeah. So It is a really good game though if you really like the open worlds aspect of games, because you can drive around Hong Kong in cars, motorcycles, you get to beat people up, you get to help people, you get to shop. It's really fun. It's got kind of a Grand Theft Auto feel to it, kind of. So, yeah. It's a good game. I would probably try to rent it from Gamefly or something if I were you before buying it, because, again, if the combat system proves too much, it's probably not a good game for you. I'm actually thinking of returning mine or selling it and then getting Darksiders 2 instead, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, I should probably wrap up this video. It's almost 17 minutes long, so I'm just gonna end it here. In conclusion, my life has been ruined by British men as of 2 days ago when I got Sherlock. Because first it was Tom Hiddleston, and now it's also Benedict Cumberbatch. So, yeah, my life has been ruined by British men. I'm not complaining at all because it's awesome, and I enjoy my fandoms. So, again, if any of you are interested in like crime dramas on television, I highly recommend Sherlock to all of you. It is amazing. The cinematography is great. The characters are really relatable, and it's just awesome.